Shrooms in my veins and play it safe. I don't belong with you, no way. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Can't only rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Can't only rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storms coming, so you better start running. We can't control it. Our bones are coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Staying off till the last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change.
All right, y'all. Happy Monday. It's almost Christmas time. Don't forget the 24th. We got half a day. 25th, we're closed. Is that right? Yeah. Wednesday, half a day. Closing the markets, I think, at 1 p.m. And Christmas Day, markets are closed Friday. If I'm not mistaken, things will be back to normal. If you're watching us from overseas, don't forget. Anya, good evening. Craig, howdy, howdy. What a freaking day, you guys, for Hycroft Mining. Up 49%. High on the day, $26.25. Closing at $24.52. And here in the after hours, trading at $25.32. You could have got in this stock at $1.63. But, you know, all the haters were saying, it's going bankrupt. It's a scam, yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, you'd be up what? How many times X? I can't even calculate it. Ridiculous. Over 1,000%, right? AMC this afternoon, a little bit of additional downward pressure, 2.86% down. If you've been in the Discord since, many of you have been here years, but you guys know that are in the Discord, we've been calling for a rundown in AMC price since July when we got our eyeballs on the 8Ks that dropped in July. It is going exactly as we forecast that the price would go. Which is why I've stayed out of the trade, following my own DD. Do whatever you want. I'm not trying to influence your trading, just kind of recapping what we've been talking about for this entire year, why I've been out of the trade. People continue to tell me I'm wrong. I mean, if that's wrong, who wants to be right? We've called this thing perfectly. GameStop, $21.74, down 3.5%. I don't really know what is the news driving GameStop down. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for this one. I haven't even looked at the TA. I mean, it's kind of range bound. We're back to the same old thing, right? The warrant excitement dropped off, and we're going to be trading until something interesting happens in this range. Brad says he's up 1,000% on Hycroft. I love it, Brad. I love it. I want to talk briefly with you guys about the Hycroft press release, and then when a few more people come in, we can talk about the AMC press release. Look, there's been a lot of important AMC information for those that have been paying attention to the filings, but some of y'all want to talk about this biggest weekend ever since 2021, biggest pre-Christmas holiday weekend. This is all finally delineated and lawyered. People, I saw so many people. Gosh, it drives me nuts, you guys. Some of y'all out there, how can a press release talking about the best quarter since best weekend since 2021 and we still go down? Are you reading the other filing that dropped today? Yep. Are you reading any filings? Are you aware of what the box office is at? You're probably listening to that guy that tells you the Q1 cash flow is going to be fine. So why even worry about any other press release? I get it. Some of y'all still haven't learned, but you will. Just stick around. Just stick around. We'll get to this. We'll get to this. Well, this is what we really need to get to, because there's some big changes today. Some big changes. The rally cry of 566 got thrown overboard in July of 2025 for $1.79, and it's about to get thrown overboard for an even lower price now, if you read and understood today's 8K. Now, I don't say any of this to be negative, just so that you can be properly informed with the correct information. Because if you're only looking at people talking about this, you're not going to understand this, and then you're not going to understand this. And I want you to understand it. I want you to understand it. It's just that simple. And then you can decide whatever you want. But don't come to me on social media and say, explain to me why the price is going down. I've been explaining to you for a year why the price is going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. But I know it's not a popular message. Yeah, I'm just twiddling thumbs, patiently waiting, dry powder ready for the risk to be wrung out of the play. I'm not negative on AMC. I don't hate the company. I don't hate management. I hate losing money, so I'm on the sidelines until every little nitpicky fucking risk thing that I'm looking at is out of the way. And that's just me. Maybe you're not risk averse like me. If my DD says sit out, I sit out. You do whatever your DD tells you. My DD has been working just fine for me. We've sat out now a 70% rundown in price since I got out of the trade. Jay Bertlow says the beauty of AMC is not going anywhere. I don't care how anyone interprets the filings. I mean, I think that's a fair statement, Jay. AMC is not going anywhere, even if the worst were to happen. Like, let's think of the most bearish scenario. The industry collapses and the company does a restructuring out of court. The AMC is not going anywhere. The company will still be here. You still have AMC theaters, but the lenders will own the majority of the stock, not us. Kind of, I want you to think of like BYND, Beyond Meat, that recapitalization out of court, the restructuring. AMC itself is not going anywhere. The only question we need to pay attention to is, can they thread the needle with enough box office or enough liquidity to bridge any shortcomings to not have to do that out of court restructuring? It's really that simple, Jay. If they can make it, I think, into Q2, and I'm pretty sure they will. I'm not forecasting bankruptcy. Don't get me wrong. Once they get past Q1, I think things, from what I see right now, look better for the rest of the year. So I just want to babysit very closely for me and my channel and the DD we're covering. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about Q1 because they don't want to lose their followers. To me, there's nothing more important to talk about than Q1. Now, I get it. If you're just holding and you're not doing any buying, you have no buys planned, then watching Q1 doesn't matter, right? Because you're just along for the ride. But if you're trying to be a asshole, grab the absolute bottom, go all in with your dry powder fool like me, I want to pay very close attention to what's going on in the corporate filings so that if and when I decide to re-enter the trade, I set myself up to get the lowest price I feasibly can. Now, I'm probably not going to time the bottom perfectly, but we're not going to try and catch a falling knife either when we understand the filings. And when things play out, as we've been talking about in the Discord since July, subject to future corporate actions, which we got another one today, when things play out, then we'll be able to say, all right, now's the logical time to enter in the trade. And that's going to be sometime, I think, between now and Q2. So that's kind of the time frame I'm watching. But there are things that haven't played out yet, and we'll talk about that in tonight's live. Mark says, will you let us know when you buy AMC? I'm sure I will, Mark. I always post it in Discord in the VIP the second I make the trade. YouTube, whenever I get around to it. I gotta be real careful right now. I mean, I posted when I went long on Highcroft a few months back after the earnings. I might tweet out something. I'm not trying to make a bunch of people follow my trades, so I'm very cautious about what I say because people like to twist everything. Oh, I mean, it's so funny, you guys. I have the pumpers of AMC blocking me and calling me a short. Oh, he's paid for by the hedge funds. And then I had some dipshit today in YouTube and Twitter telling me, you need to quit promoting AMC. I'm like, again, like, how can people see my material, the same material, and some of them say I'm working for a short and some say I'm promoting the stock paid for by AMC? Like, do you guys even see the problem here? Like, if you think either one of those things, you got to go see a counselor because something ain't right in your head. Number one, reporting on a ticker is not promoting it. I've never told anybody to buy AMC. I've said for over a year I don't own it, and why. I don't know how anyone in their right mind, clearly there's some of y'all not in your right mind, saying that I'm promoting the fucking stock. I'm reporting on it, you dipshits. I report on a lot of tickers I don't own. Grow the fuck up. And for those of you blocking someone because they covered a filing and you didn't like what the filing said and it sounded scary to you, well, you're a pussy too. I'm sorry. Some of y'all need to grow the fuck up. This market is built on people that have different opinions. That's what creates a market. That's why you have buyers and sellers. And I think that you should all pay attention to the filings and the financials. And some of y'all think you should only pay attention to manipulation. Look, I'm not here to argue with you. If you want to pay attention to manipulation, that's your thing, then you do your thing. Don't worry about my DD. Don't worry about it. But people who have been paying attention to the filings have definitely avoided 70% rundown in the last 13 months. Can AMC go lower? Yes, it can. And probably will. All right, let's get back to some good news for a minute. Hycroft up 49%. What happened today with Hycroft? We're going to come back to AMC, don't worry. Silver and gold continue to go up, first of all. And then we got this drop of news this morning. Hycroft reports higher grade in the Vortex silver system. Now look, here's my, I'm not a core analysis expert. I'm good at understanding Hycroft's plan. I'm good at understanding Hycroft's bullish story, the timeline, the financials. I've told y'all for years, don't judge it too early. They told us 5 to 7 years. You got to be patient. Maybe things will work out. Maybe they won't, but that's what we said. But we're clearly in the camp now of things are working out. The science is getting done. The drill results are coming in better than expected. And on top of that, we've got a bullish metals market. Hycroft technical report got pushed to Q1. We were expecting it this year, Q4, but that didn't happen. It got pushed again. But that is because they want to have the latest and greatest, best science in the analysis, because that report's going to have the economics of the mine. You want that thing done right. You want that report done right. But what we had today was the highest grades to date in Vortex. And there is an ongoing drill program, so I'm sure they're going to continue drilling around this area, seeing exactly what this resource in this area looks like. But these higher grade results give them some indication that there is some real potential here for higher grade silver. And that is about the deepest scientific explanation you're going to get from me on today's core results, because I am not a geologist. I know that I've told you guys over the years that people often were too bullish in interpreting the core sample press releases. And we had this conversation where I told you, when you have a real press release with some really meaningful core samples, the price is going to move before you can blink. That's when you'll know it's a meaningful drill sample, core sample result. And so I'm going to attribute partially the run up today to this press release, the continued investment of Eric Sprott, and of course, gold and silver continuing to move up. So congrats everybody who didn't listen to the negative Nancy crybaby emotional Project Popcorn and GME elitists. Those of you that had real conviction, you had more than me buying it $1.63, $2. You are getting paid, and I love to see it. Nebabach says, did Adam Aaron sell its Hycroft position at break even? I did a video on this topic. I'd recommend you go watch it. But in short, the company broke even on their investment roughly. And I'm talking their initial investment in 2022, with the sale that they did in the last month, they essentially broke even. They have an accounting profit of $8 million. That does not mean they profited $8 million. The investment had been marked down because the price of Hycroft was down at the end of last quarter. So they were in an accounting loss. With the sale that they took, they had an accounting gain of $8 million. But in terms of actual dollars, it was break even. Plus, they still kept 1 million warrants and 64,000 shares, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just kind of like back of napkin ballparking it. $1 million profit additional is sitting there ready for them to take, AMC, for every dollar Hycroft goes above $11. That's just a rough and I'm not gonna use that phrase. A phrase that one of the MMTLP people used to use. Rough and dirty calculation of the number of shorts out there. Blah blah blah. Anyways, at one point today, I had calculated AMC was up on their warrants and shares $16 million. I know it's 1 million warrants and it's $24, but they have an exercise price of $10.65. So you got to pay that, or, you just get the difference. I don't know how it works on a big deal like this, but at any rate, it's not 1 million times 24. It's 1 million times 24 minus 1065. Hot Hand says, we're at 17 cents. This is going to zero. Am I right? What would be your 1% scenario where AMC doesn't go bankrupt? I'll say what I've been saying in the comments. I think there was an averted high risk of bankruptcy prior to December 10th, when people had to decide between yes or no vote. In my mind, and I said this out loud in 2023, and I said it again at the right before the vote or the day of the vote, a no vote on December 10th would have been almost certain Chapter 11 restructuring something, because you cut off the ability of the company to have any access to liquidity and cut off the ability to restructure any debt. So what the yes vote did was it gave them an additional lease on life for an indeterminate period. Hot Hand, I don't know how long that period is, but in the short term right now, what I can see is there's going to be a cash burn in Q1 is my best analysis. And they got to get through that, which is what led us to AMC selling Hycroft and AMC announcing the 8K today of increasing the ATM facility up to $150 million. I think they are seeing the same thing I am. Like, there's a high risk of a cash shortfall in Q1. And Sean Goodman's job is to manage liquidity risk. And he's doing his job. He's doing his job. It's a thankless job. Nobody's happy with him. But the alternative is what? Not pay your bills in Q1? That's not an option. Someone's going to sue you or foreclose on you. So they got to do what they got to do. Is it going bankrupt? They have 550 million more shares. By my best guess, 100 million plus are going to the lenders. The exchangeable notes, 153 million remaining, if I recall correctly, from July. That was part of the vote we did on December 10th, or y'all did. Let's say those exchange at $1.50 a share. That's 100 million shares. Plus they get a 20% make-whole provision for exchanging early. Plus now they get another 6.5 million in shares from today's 8K. So what, 120 million shares going to the lenders. Oh, plus they get a 12.5% discount now. I mean, the story just keeps getting worse, but you'll have 153 million off the balance sheet. Now, there's going to be people that tell you, cool, 153 million is less interest we got to pay. Okay, that is definitely a fact. You got to decide if you're okay with the fact that took 120 million of your 550 million shares. Only you can decide if that's cool or not. I can guarantee you social media is going to be telling you that that's cool. It's a win for everybody. I am not going to be, I have no opinion. I just report on the numbers are the numbers. You can decide if it's good or bad. In addition to that 100 to 120 million shares that are about to be used, Mr. Hot Hand, the company announced this 8K today. And it did two things. Most importantly, it gave the company the ability to raise up to $150 million. No earlier than February 2nd. In at-the-market offerings. Now, I have told you, it is my belief that they're going to thread the needle on cash liquidity in Q1. This would still give them some ability if they need it. Look, I could be wrong, but if I'm right, if they need the ability to raise cash in Q1, they have it up to 150 million. Now, if you're in my Discord, you know we've been scratching our heads saying, how the fuck is $50 million enough? Because that's what they were restricted to before today. They were restricted to, for 6 months, they could not ATM offer more than 25 million shares, $50 million. And we're just sitting here saying that is not going to be enough to cover Q1 shortfall on cash that I'm forecasting. And if you're in the Discord, you also know that I've been saying whatever's going to happen, it's already planned out. And so and you've been reading my tweets, you've seen me adding the little asterisk, subject to future corporate actions. Here's what I think. Guess what we got today? We got a subject to. AMC has the ability to raise $150 million. Let's say they raise it at $1.50. I don't know what price they're going to raise it at. I'd prefer it be $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever you decide. I prefer they not even use it. But let's just say that they get desperate in Q1 and they're raising $150 million at $1.50, $1.25. there's another 100 million shares going out the door. So, good news is it gives them a bridge on liquidity to not file bankruptcy in Q1. So, Mr. Hot Hand, they've threaded the needle effectively. They've opened up. They've tripled their ATM capacity should they need it. I don't know for sure that they'll need it. I suspect that they will need some of it. They might take 3 months to slowly sell 150 million. I'm not saying they're going to sell all of it, but I think, in Q1, having the ability to raise a little extra cash should they need it is a good thing. It diminishes that bankruptcy risk. Now, the lenders got their pound of flesh in this 8K. That's why I said in the video title, the lenders say thank you, because this didn't come for free. We already know the exchange rate is being determined right now in the VWAP measurement period after the shareholder vote. This was all in the July indenture and the technical support agreement, the two 8Ks in July. There is a VWAP measurement period of I don't know how many days. I don't know. Could be 7, could be 20. I just said, I'm going to guess 21 trading days. That takes us till middle of January. Hopefully it's shorter. But with the holiday and everything, who knows? VWAP measurement period is determining the exchange rate right now at a collar agreed upon between AMC and the lenders between $1.50 and $2.75. Average VWAP daily during that measurement period. So it has been our thesis for a long time that the lenders would be incentivized to drive the price down to the bottom of that collar, to the floor, to enrich themselves. I mean, it's capitalism at work, and AMC agreed to it. The AMC didn't really have any choice. I'm talking about the July documents. They were trying to settle a lawsuit and push out the maturities on the debt. Everybody had to give something. So the lenders would short at $2.30, $2.20, $2.10, $2, $1.90, $1.80. They keep shorting it because they're selling at high price, locking in immediate cash. They push the price down as a bonus to the floor of that collar. They get the optimal exchange rate for themselves, and then they get delivery of shares from AMC to close out their short. And then they're done, and hopefully the price can run up. Now, you could make an argument that that is manipulative, and the SEC might frown upon that sort of stuff. That's a fair argument to make. Maybe they would, but we've seen other people do this, like Antara. And from bond traders I've talked to, this sort of convertible bond arbitrage is, I'm not just making up theories. This sort of thing happens. The pound of flesh that the lenders got in today's 8K, that collar we just talked about between $1.50 and $2.75, is now being modified. Not that the collar's changing, but they're getting a discount after the exchange rate is defined. So the collar will, and the VWAP measurement period will determine the unadjusted exchange price, but they're going to get a discount of 12.5% off of that exchange price. That, in essence, drops, that gives them an let's say they get the shares at $1.50. Worst case scenario for us, common. let's say they get them at $1.50. They're going to immediately get a discount from AMC. They'll exchange at $1.31, immediately locking in another 12.5% in profit, assuming the price goes up, right? Not craters to $1.31. So the lenders say thank you. That's how I'm reading this. This was a very lender favorable 8K today. It gave them an extra 12.5% on the exchange that is coming in a few weeks. Yes, AMC is going to get rid of $153 million in debt, but now we're paying an extra 12.5% in shares plus $6.25 million in a consent fee payable in shares. Lenders say, thank you very much, and thank you very much, and thank you very much. I mean, I'm trying to be slightly deadpan humor here, but that is the essence of what's going on here. AMC got something. They got the ability to raise money that they need, in my opinion. I've been telling you they need to raise money. They got it, but they had to give something up, and that such is life. You got to give something to get something. Cart Mill says, Tony, why'd you block me on X? I don't know. What's your X name? I try not to block people on X as long as if you're posting racist stuff or religious bigotry, I will block someone even if they haven't interacted with me. If your feed is full of just insulting people, wishing people to die, things like that. If your feed is not providing any value to humanity, I might block you even with no interaction from me. If I see it, if it comes across my way. Other than that, I try not to block people. I encourage discussion and different opinions as long as you can act like an adult. If you can tell me in the comments here if you think you might have crossed any of those lines. I'm not on X to interact with people that are acting like children. And I don't know what your X name is, and I have no idea how you act on there, but I'm looking for people that actually want to talk about trading like an adult on whatever ticker, whatever security, options, metals, crypto. I want to make some money. I want you to challenge me. I want to challenge you. I want us all to get better together. Kenneth says, does shareholders have the authority to vote to remove AA? No, they do not. The board appoints the CEO. You do get to vote on the board. However, your only option is to replace the board, right? We could do that. But now 2 years in a row, you guys all have voted against the very proposal on the ballot that would give you the ability to replace the entire board. You guys keep voting no on all these proposals that give you more, what's the word? They give you more rights. You had the ability to vote yes and throw out the entire board next year. You had that ability this year and last year, and you all voted no. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but you're asking me the question. I think, I'm not advocating replacing the CEO. You're just asking a question. I'm trying to answer in a non-emotional, non-judgmental way. You guys keep voting against what you want to happen. Quit voting no on this shit. If the company says vote yes, I'm voting no. You're fucking yourselves because you're too emotional to even read and understand what the proxy proposals mean. So now just like every other year before today, you can only replace 2 board members every year. It's going to take you 3 years to even have a shot. You can forget about it. You can forget about it because you guys voted no. You cannot replace the entire board. It just makes me laugh. The Popcorn Project people, I'm voting no on everything. Replace AA. It's like hold a loaded gun to your head because that's what you're doing, you Popcorn Project nut jobs. You're not going to replace him if you keep voting no. They're going to propose it again next year, so maybe you'll learn how to read in the next 12 months. A bear. Can Adam make that surprise announcement, the MNPI, right? That he hinted in the interview prior to this dilution? I sure hope so. Look, the one thing that is going to make all of my due diligence and my anticipation of what's going to happen and my fears about Q1, the one thing that's going to make me wrong on all counts is some surprise announcement from AMC. A better box office than I'm expecting would be the secondary thing that would make me wrong. But I've been calling it pretty good, and it's not going so well, the box office. So yeah, I'd love for him to have a surprise announcement. I'd love to come to you guys and make a video saying everything I was worried about in December. Well, I was a doubting Thomas. I should have known better to trust Adam Aron and his surprise announcement. But in my effort to provide you guys balanced and reasonable analysis, I can't talk to you about things that are unknown. I can only analyze what we have in front of us. We can say, yeah, he said something. He said there's also no guarantee, but if it happens, it would be meaningful. Good. Then make it happen, Adam. We need something. We need something. What other questions? And Cartmill still has not told me what his ex name is, so I can look up his tweet history. Did the chat get locked up? Everybody go to sleep? I guess we'll call it a night. You got what you needed. We talked about Highcroft. We talked about the AMC 8K. We went over the 3 main things here. The discount that the lenders are getting, the extra $6 million bonus they're getting. Exchange rate's going to be effectively between $1.31 and $2.40 now. Somewhere in that range. And AMC on their end gets an increase of up to $150 million after February 2nd, should they need it. This answers a lot of questions that I've had. Like, how the fuck are they going to survive Q1? Thank you. Now we have the answer. If the worst of my guess were to happen, this resolves that. If box office is a little better than I expect, if Avatar carries over a little better into January than I expect, then the cash burn will be a little bit, maybe not as bad as I'm worried about, but I think it's going to be, I have almost no doubt, 99% sure it's going to be a cash burn in Q1, similar to Q1 2025. And as we've been talking about in the Discord, I've been explaining to people how accountants can legally muck with cash flow. You could tell your payables. I'm going to pay you on January 1st. I'm going to pay you on April 1st. Just give me an extra week. You could tell your receivables, hey, could you do us a solid and just pay that invoice we sent you a little bit early so we can get paid in Q4? We really want to make our Q4 numbers look good. Could you just go ahead and pay us a couple days early? Even December 31st. If your accountants approve it, our accountants would love it to have that cash on the books and that accounts receivables go down. There's legal accounting they can do to just make sure that their promise of Q4 positive cash flow comes true. They can make it happen. But that's not illegal. If you're a CPA, you know or you've ever hired one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're not talking about it's part of the fucking job. Let's be honest. It's part of the fucking job to make the books look good. But it's not illegal. You're making something look good right now, but it doesn't go away. You're going to pay the piper the next quarter. I think that, no matter how bad Q4 is on box office, they're going to do their absolute best to make sure that it's free cash flow positive. And if they do a little hanky-panky on the AR and the AP, all that means is Q1 is going to be even worse in terms of cash burn, in my opinion. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a CPA. But I have hired one. I have employed one. Cartman says at seasoned Curly's, right? Seasoned Curly's, I think, is what you're trying to type. The name sounds familiar. Abera says, Tony, go watch The Housemaid. So we did go see 2 movies this weekend. We saw The Housemaid on Thursday. Fantastic movie. That was my wife's first pick of what to go see. And I loved it. She liked it. She loved it. Over the top performances by all the actors in there. It was just very well done. It's not an Oscar movie, but I mean, for this sort of thriller type of movie, it was very well done. And as a bonus, it's Sydney Sweeney. And look, if you're, I said in my review, if your girlfriend or wife gets jealous over a nude Sydney Sweeney on the big screen, go by yourself, gentlemen. Because she's going to be pissed. Why'd you take me to this porno? You just wanted to see her boobs? Go see The Housemaid. The next movie that we wanted to go see was Avatar, and we did eventually go see it, but Friday, I mean, it's a big commitment for us, my wife and I, to carve out 4 hours to go see a movie. 4 hours. It's a 3 hour and 15-minute movie, and the IMAX is a 30-minute drive each way. And then you got previews. So you're talking 3 hours, 45 minutes plus an hour drive time, almost 5 hours. But I was determined to see it this weekend. And I really wanted to see SpongeBob, but that didn't happen. We couldn't make it happen Friday. We couldn't make it happen Saturday. We made it to the theater at 9:15 in the morning on Sunday and watched Avatar. And in my opinion, it is the best of the 3. It's okay if you don't agree, but you got that new chick, whatever the Veruca or whatever the hell her name is. You got action sequences that are just over the top in the fighting. You got these new characters, the cloud traders or whatever, the wind traders. I thought it was the best one yet. The only thing that I regret is this fucking, sorry. The only thing that I don't like is the IMAX location here has the oldest style seats possible. And it is really difficult to sit in them for 3.5 hours. I'm super looking forward to the Odyssey. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't know me from Jack. I like languages. So in high school, I took 5 years of Spanish, 4 years of Latin, 3 years of Greek. In college, I took a year of Russian and then 2 more years of Spanish. I wanted to take 2 years of Russian, but it was fucking hard. As a student of Latin and Greek, we read translated books like the Odyssey and the Aeneid. And I've always loved Roman and Greek mythology, and I'm super looking forward to this movie. I hope it lives up to the hype and the expectations. I love any movie that has to do with that period. So yes, I'm stoked about the Odyssey. The preview had it's the scene where they roll the horse in through the gates and they make their escape and open the gate. I mean, I'd like to see a little more in a preview that captures me emotionally. I mean, the preview looked fine, but I need to see a little more. The True Myth says, language nerd. I was a language nerd, yep. And then in my spare time, when I've traveled, I used to travel a lot to China and Taiwan. I tried to teach myself Chinese. It's pretty fucking impossible to teach yourself Chinese. But I got to the point where I could understand it because I was making an attempt to learn it. And I had the benefit of people to talk to on a daily basis half of every year. Live in their own country, and they knew I was trying to learn. But like reading, no. Speaking, no. Too. Yeah, I tried. It didn't go so well. And then I've taken some community college classes in French and Italian. But it's tough. It's tough to be a cunning linguist if you're not practicing every day. Am I right, gentlemen? You got to have a partner to practice with. Speaking that language is what I mean. Manicio says, I'm intrigued by the next Tom Cruise movie, The Digger. I was trying to look up, like, I am intrigued too. I was like asking Grok, what is the story behind The Digger? And it basically told me no one knows. The preview was enough to, yeah, it gave you that little, what the fuck is this? I like that kind of preview. It's not even a preview. It's Anya. Linguist, Anya. Get your mind out of the gutter. The Digger, we want to see more. Nike says Pluribus is good. I'm going to be honest with you, Nike. Our TV kept on recommending Pluribus, and I see social media pushing it. It's such a good show, blah, 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 blah. And I read the description. And it said a lady who is, she's a curmudgeon tries to fix the world that becomes too happy. Something like that, right? And I was like, I don't want to spend 8 hours watching a curmudgeon female on female relationship taking their anger out at themselves and the world, trying to fix everybody else who is happy. I don't want to watch that. That sounds fucking depressing. And so I never really looked into it. But my wife said, hey, we're out of shows to watch. Let's give this one a try. And, you know, about 25% of the time when she says that, she finds a winner. And so we watched Pluribus, and I ended up liking it. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't as bad as I feared. It wasn't depressing. It has a lot of interesting storyline twist. So yeah, if you're looking for something to watch, my top shows right now are Landman. Pluribus was good. And we caught up on Stranger Things. We're trying to give Fallout another chance. We've tried to watch it one time before and kind of died out our interest. We're trying to revive that. And so we'll see how that goes. That dude says me and the kids went and saw David. It was okay, and it was packed. Thank you for reminding me of David. David outperformed SpongeBob. Did you guys know that? That was not on my bingo card. I had 100 million forecast for I had 100 million forecast for Avatar, and I'm going to pull this up here. I had 23 million forecast for SpongeBob. Box Office Mojo. And I came very close. I didn't predict a number for David, but I had total box office for it over its life of 60 million. 60. It came in at number 2 with 22 million on the first weekend. And we got 10 days of Christmas. I think it could easily hit 60 million. And the fact that it outperforms SpongeBob, I did not see that coming. Avatar did not. Look, the estimates out there in the press for Avatar domestic were between 100 and 130. And I thought I was being conservative at 100, and we didn't even hit that. You wonder why I'm worried about Q1 cash burn. Shit like this. And then SpongeBob, I thought conservative at 23 million, 15 million. I mean, this thing's almost dead in the water out of the gate. Thank God for The Housemaid and David. And maybe just a lot of people were overwhelmed like we were. It's a lot. It's a lot of good movies all in one weekend. Nobody can go see them all. We're going to see SpongeBob. We're going to see Marty Supreme or whatever it's called. There's a couple more on our schedule for the holidays. Anaconda. The Plague. I don't know much about that one. I don't even know if it's available in my area. That's about all we got. So, Song Blue. I know my wife won't care about that one, but maybe because of Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. She likes both of them. So maybe I can convince her, but she probably has no idea who Neil Diamond is. She asked me the other day. Bless her heart. She's like, Tony, when you were little, did you ever have one of those things that played music and you put that disc on it that spun around and you dropped like that thing on it? I was like, you mean a record player? Yes, I had a record. Oh, yeah, because I could see you having one of those. Bless her heart. Pretty funny. I only share that story because I don't think she's going to know who Neil Diamond is. And we had a good laugh over that. She and I. Okie says AMC's not doing good, but there are so many shorts in and no real shares to cover that from today to next year, a big pop will happen. I just like to remind you guys, you know, if you're going to come here and say that, I talk about data, Okie, and I haven't been an asshole about it tonight, but since you brought it up, you know, it's worth checking the data. Short interest is currently 9.5%. Look, I don't consider anything. This has been a rule on my channel from day one. If the short interest is under 20%, I do not talk about it as a short squeeze candidate. Now, there are plenty of other channels that will tell you whatever you want to hear about synthetic shares. We own the float 5 times over. Go hold them accountable if things don't work out. I don't do that over here. We look at data. I trade. I promise you, I trade based on what I see here. If anything else happens like you're hoping, I get to benefit from that. But I also take my entries and exits based on data. And that's why I stay profitable in these trades while other people are down 70%. I'm not out there thinking that the float is sold over 5 times. Are stocks manipulated? Yes. Is it being shorted right now? Absolutely. Guess what's going to happen, Okie? The lenders, if they're the ones shorting it right now, are about to get 120 million shares delivered to them from AMC at about $1.50 a share. Do you think they are scared? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? If the lenders are the ones shorting it, which would make perfect logical sense, anything they sell above $1.50 is profit. Now they get another 12.5% bonus right here. They get guaranteed delivery from the company at $1.31. What are they scared about? 120 million shares. You tell me, what are they scared about? Now, if you want to go down the path of the data's not correct, I don't believe the data, okay, you're on the wrong channel for that. So good luck. The data has provided us perfect waypoints to trade these stocks. I don't think there's any value to saying don't trust the data. That's just leading people into holding on into continued losses. If the price starts moving up, I can drop some money in and buy it. I'm not going to push fantasy stories with no data and watch you lose 70% of your money over a 12-month period. Go complain to the other people that are telling you those stories if you're in the red. I don't want to hear it. The data works if you pay attention and stop listening to social media. Manicio says if AMC could lower the debt interest expense a third, they'd be all right. Yeah, but they're not going to come anywhere close to that, Manicio. I've shared, I think in the Discord, my projections for what the Q1 interest payments will be. I already have that calculated. There's going to be a little bit of a reduction from the Fed dropping the rates a little bit. There'll be a little bit of reduction from the 153 million being exchanged. Yeah, yes and yes. But is it going to be meaningful? Is it going to be a meaningful reduction? Some people are telling you, and I see their videos, it's going to be a meaningful reduction in interest expense. in Q1. Interest expense has gone up. Where is it at? Income statement, AMC. Oh, here we go. It was 84 million in Q2 of 2023. It's 120 million right now. So it's gone up $30 million in a couple years. And they keep telling you we're paying down debt and the interest expense is getting cheaper. Everybody on social media, they are correct. The debt has been paid down. They are incorrect that the interest expense is decreasing. It's only going up. 86, 90, 91, 93, 94, 110, 114, 120 in the most recent quarter. Even if we take $10 million off of it in Q1, we're still 20 million higher than we were 2 years ago. But the debt's lower. Like, make it make fucking sense. I mean, I can make it make sense, but AMC is struggling and the lenders are extracting their pound of flesh. It's really that simple. But these people that are spinning this story that things are going to magically get better in Q1 because a couple $1 million are going to be shaved off the interest expense, I don't see it. There is going to be some money shaved off. It's not going to drop us back down to 90 million. I'll go over that with you guys when I do my Q4 forecast and my Q1 forecast. It's very easy to calculate this stuff. Only one of us got it right for Q3. Anya says, Tony got me interested in Railtown. I finally talked to them today, Anya. There's not much new information to share until we get the next press release. But we like this buy. We're in the buy zone, Anya. People said I was a short. People said I was a negative Nancy for saying, watch out up here. Watch out. But we're finally down in the buy zone, and I like it. I've been buying down here. Don't follow my fucking trades, you guys. This is a no revenue stock. This is the most risky of the risky. What is the bet? What is the bet on this Canadian AI company? The bet is that in the next quarter, maybe the next two, they will report revenue from a recent acquisition that they just completed in a partnership with a major telecom and telecommunications technology company up there in Canada. It's a little gamble play. We're just playing with fun money here. Railtown, RLAIF. Waiting on news, Anya. Waiting on news. That dude says it can't go to zero, can't go down much more, maybe to 10 cents. That would mean $1. We talking about what? AMC? Price we see now is post-split. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if we think about the debt documents from July and that price collar to get for the lenders to extract the most favorable exchange rate, if that is a correct theory, right? Look, I'm just giving opinions. I could be wrong. Could be someone else shorting. But it would make sense to me that the lenders are the ones shorting because they are the ones that benefit. If they're the ones trying to drive it down to $1.50, once they hit that and the VWAP measurement period is over, key being when the measurement period is over, then there's no incentive for them to keep shorting. Unless I'm going to add that caveat in, unless there are additional corporate actions. And now we got one today. So what the fuck do I know? How many more corporate actions are coming? Hopefully that's it. But now we got to think about another 100 million shares coming at us in Q1. But I don't know. It's crystal ball is hazy right now, as we're trying to read it. If the lenders would stop shorting, or whoever the fuck is shorting it, get this damn VWAP measurement period over, get the 8K out, telling us what the exchange rate is, then we'll know it's done. That's what I'm waiting on. When are we going to get that 8K? Is it going to be end of this month? Is it going to be middle of January like I'm guessing? I don't know. I want that out of the way. I want to see how Q4 ends up so I can have a better guess about Q1 cash burn. And then once I can think about exactly how Q4 looks and think more about Q1, then we can answer the question, how much lower could it go? I don't know. I don't think they need more than the $150 million that they had in today's 8K. So that's what we have all the information most likely that we need. And now we see what the market does with it and what AMC does. We need more movies. Someone's saying such a large gap compared to 2019. I know. Oh, and then, as if we didn't need another thing to worry about. This year, they're going to start negotiating the actors and writers contracts again. Can you believe it's been 3 years? Can you believe that in the beginning of next year, the negotiations start over again? God damn, man. We couldn't make anything happen in the last 3 years with the damn movies, with the stock price. And now here we are again. And they're probably going to be arguing about AI again. I hope they're not all idiots about it. I hope they see how bad it was for everybody, they being Hollywood, actors, writers, studios, and that they don't drag this out again. Quarter end date, that dude is 12/31. Am I buying AMC at these prices, 6 Sun? I am not, because I don't think we're at the bottom yet, 6 Sun. But I also don't know when the VWAP measurement period is over yet, when it's over. They didn't fucking define it. I mean, you guys should know, for someone who likes looking for every freaking clue in a filing, reading hundreds of pages, when they leave out key information like how long the VWAP measurement period is, that really pisses me off. I don't think it's accidental. It's like they're purposely leaving us in the dark with a key bit of information to answer your very question. Where is the fucking bottom? When is this measurement period over? Was it 7 days? Is it 20 days? Is it 21 trading days taking us into the middle of January? I don't like that they don't put this information in there. We'll find out when we get the 8K saying, here's the exchange rate and these notes were exchanged. You might have 1 day notice of the price starting to move up because they're already done. They're already done. They got their shares. And then, if I see that, I'm going to be thinking to myself, the 8K is about to drop. Human Made says, I finally passed Series 65 over the last weekend. Congratulations, brother. Let's see if we have the soundboard working today. Applause. Yes. Congratulations. That is not an easy test. Are you familiar with CJME? Curious if you have any thoughts on the chart right now. Did you use achievables, by the way, on your Series 65? CMJE. CJMB. Callan JMB? No, I'm not familiar with it. Spring Branch, Texas, just down the road from me. Logistics company. Market cap 6 million. Wow, that is a tiny market cap. What do we like about it? That dude says they just dropped an 8K about an hour ago. Who are we talking about? Who is they? AMC dropped another one? Just the one we looked at. I'm not seeing anything new. Is this the one you're looking at? The one we've been talking about? Redefining the exchange rate, talking about the ATM restrictions, and giving consideration of $6 million to the lenders. Yeah, that dropped this morning. The next 8K, I'm expecting, hopefully no more surprises. This was not really a surprise to me because we've been scratching our head. Like I said, how are they going to make Q1 on 50 million ATM? It didn't seem logical to me. So this is not surprising to me. Makes perfect sense. 150 million. The next 8K then that I expect is the one saying, here's the exchange rate. The shares were exchanged and we've paid off 153 million. That should be coming sometime in the next 30 days. I'd prefer it be as soon as fucking possible because we are all tired. We're all tired of this. Right? Nobody, MS, nobody benefits from continual shorting. The lenders, let's say they keep some of their shares and they want to sell them into a run-up on excitement on Q2. Maybe they only shorted 60 million shares and they get delivery of 120 million shares. Maybe 60 million was all they needed to push it down. Maybe they're not short any. Maybe they're just day trading it enough to push it down. We won't really know till we get the next official short interest report. Maybe the short interest didn't even move, in which case this was all just manipulative day trading, right? By the shorts. This is not retail selling. I know that's everybody says that. Come on. This is not retail selling. This is purposeful movement of the price down by somebody big. Let's just assume it's the lenders. Whether they're day trading it or taking on a short position that is going to show up on the SEC FINRA report. I don't know. We'll find out, I think, right after Christmas, the next report drops. But, you know, part of our theory was they're going to have some shares that they would like to sell then at a profit into a run-up on excitement into Q2, which is why they had that 6-month window built in where AMC could not raise money with the ATM. I still think that's part of the story. I still think that the lenders want the price to run up once they lock in their best exchange rate. I don't know if I'll be right. I think the lenders want things to go up as much as AMC and you and I do. But right now, they're doing the best they can for their business, which is drive the price down and get the best exchange rate. That little exercise is done whenever it's done, and then we move on. Remember when the price got decimated from Antara and then it ran up? Same kind of thing. They're gonna do the capitalistic thing. You would too. It sucks for us, but that's why I'm talking about it. Because I believe these things are predictable if you read. And if you just try and listen to me without hating me. I'm just trying to read and use logic. Doesn't mean I'll be right, but so far we've been right. I think, and I hope with you, MS, that they let it run, and I think that they will let it run. Subject, the caveat, subject to any additional corporate actions. But I think they're all in. Today's was the last one that I think we needed to worry about. Markham says, I want to see $1.50. That's where we're averaged down. I mean, for a few months, that's kind of the point of interest that we've been saying in the Discord would be a reasonable gamble subject to any other additional corporate actions. We got to digest for a day or two today's 8K. I mean, I laid out to you in tonight's live stream what exactly it means, but we need to see, how does Q4 finish up? How strong will America and the world support these movies in the next 10 days, 9 days? How much cash can this company crank in Q4? We're only at 1.74 box office. That kind of sucks. And then, you know, starting around the first week of January, we're going to resharpen the pencils, do the Q4 forecast, and give our best guess about cash needs for Q1. Then we can kind of think about, is $1.50 still the best buy-in price? I saw someone in my YouTube comments. I was reading an old video from a month ago. He's like, I think we'll see $1.50 within 6 months. I'm like, we might see $1.50 before the end of this month. Depending on when the VWAP period is over. And I don't know when that's over, so what the fuck do I know? I can't tell you when the pain ends because I don't know the date that period is over. Please let it be soon. I'm ready to move on and talk about something else. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because everybody else is scared shitless to talk about it. They don't want to lose their audience. They don't want to throw them off the reservation. He's talking about the price moving down. Look, if you can back up your theories with some DD straight out of the company filings. That is not negativity. It's like, aren't we supposed to keep each other informed? I mean, isn't that the gentleman's agreement we all have with each other on social media? Twitter, X, Reddit, YouTube. Share thoughts and ideas. Discuss. No, instead, all we have now left is people that want you to block them. Chuck the follows. He follows someone I don't like. Block them all. He said something. He's mad at Adam Aaron. Block them all. Yeah, there's people mad. There's people mad. Look at the fucking price. Of course there's people mad. I don't think you need to be mad at Adam Aaron, but there are people mad. Everything the company has done has been telegraphed in every single 10Q. Anya says, let's get back to exciting companies like Lunar, right, Anya? I'm ready to move on to something else. I think we should do that. We'll have a fresh start in the new year, Anya. NASCAR says, Ross Cameron shadow banned me for challenging him to trade without live streaming. Because the impact of him talking about his trades leads a bunch of people to follow the trade and improve his own results. I mean, that's pretty funny. I like Ross Cameron. I've watched him a few times. I don't watch him regularly, but I think you can learn a lot from him. But I get your point, NASCAR. Like, yeah, I mean, if you've got millions of people following your trades, you got your little Discord group or your trading group on your whatever platform he's created, and you're all going in and you're all going out, you can move these small float stocks. Absolutely. Six Sun says, what would happen if Elon bought AMC? You're not giving me enough info, Six Sun. Is he going to pay off the debt? Or is he just going to buy it because it's a bargain basement price and take on the debt and then somehow deal with it? I don't know. I'm not analyzing any of these plays. Look, I follow every fucking retail ticker you can imagine, and all of them want Elon to buy their company. So he's not going to do it. Not going to buy GameStop. He's not going to buy AMC. He's not going to buy Beyond Meat. He's got his businesses, and I think he has his hands full. Six Sun says, I'm mad at AA. Salary too high for a company about to go bankrupt. Six Sun, just so we're on the same page, the salary is $1.5 million for the CEO of AMC. I don't think that is unreasonable. What I would like to see is for the company to voluntarily cancel all cash bonuses. And as far as I'm concerned, they could cancel the stock bonuses too. But number one, right now, we're bleeding fucking cash. Cancel the cash bonuses until the company's positive free cash flow for an entire fiscal year, Adam. Do that. It's a symbolic step, which might save the company, $20 million? I haven't even added up all the cash bonuses of all the execs, but let's say it saves them $20 million. It's symbolic that you're trying to do something, and then start communicating to shareholders about other cost-cutting initiatives, because we can't keep on like this if the box office is not going to improve. Look, it's a whole different story if the box office is 10.5, 11 billion. But we're not there. Box office is forecast to go up 5% next year. globally? What's 5% on top of this year's box office? Do you think AMC is going to be profitable with a 5% increase in box? Anya, I have some videos on Polestar from a year ago if you want to check the EV playlist. So Adam Aaron's salary is $1.5 million. Then he gets a cash bonus if they meet their EBITDA goals, which they always do. Surprise. I want to see positive free cash flow annually, Adam, and not this last 9 months bullshit. Make your bonuses off of annual positive free cash flow, or just cancel them. Those very high total compensation, that's the phrase, total compensation that the executives had was because the stock price was high in those early years and they sold. As the stock price tanks, they haven't been selling really. And so their total compensation has been falling off of a cliff. But people still like repeating the... Look, I see the shills out there. They know that total compensation has fallen from like, whatever, 40 million down to 4. So they don't talk about the salary anymore, do they? What do they say? If you add up all of his compensation over the last 5 years, he's made more than shareholders, because they can't tell the same lie that his salary's 40 million. It was never 40 million to begin with. These fucking people just lie because they don't read. Salary is 1.5 million. Hard stop. It's in the proxy every year. You can go look it up yourself. The salary is 1.5 million. Look at the Form 14 DEF, the proxy you just voted on. There's 30 pages of compensation information, including everybody's salary, what their cash bonuses are, and their total compensation package. And I know it's nitpicky, but when people say salary, let's make sure we talk about salary, cash bonus, stock bonus, total compensation. And then we know what to cut. Cut the fucking cash bonuses. That's what's hurting us. If we're common stockholders, I don't want them wasting cash on somebody patting themselves on the back about positive EBITDA when we're burning 300 million in free cash flow. Fuck you. Stop with the bonuses. Fix the free cash flow, because that is what's causing the dilution. You can't survive when you're negative free cash flow 200-300 million a year. You got to make that up, and it comes out of retail's pocket. Yeah, Teja, I know what you're talking about. The VWAP period was mentioned in this 8K. And that is in reference to this consent fee. In consideration for the note holders agreement, AMC will pay the note holders a fee of $6.25 million, the consent fee, payable in shares. The number of shares will be based on the daily VWAP for the next 60 days. So that was in today's document, but that is only referring to this $6.2 million consent fee. So there'll be another 8K in 60 days talking about how many shares were paid out for the consent fee. But I mean, it's going to be what, 6 million shares? 5 million? It's some amount. But the VWAP measurement period regarding the 153 million in exchangeable notes, that was already predefined in July. And they didn't say the days. Look, so easy, AMC. So easy. You did it right here. How come you had multiple filings in July and you couldn't give us this information? It almost seems to me, and I don't want to get all conspiracy on you, but it almost seems to me like it's on purpose to leave this stuff out. We should know this information from the July filings, and it's not there. Pond Prowler Adventures. I heard my wife was regaling some of your stories to her dad this weekend. He came over to visit us on Saturday, which is why we didn't end up going to see Avatar. At any rate, word is getting out about your channel, Pond Prowler. Scarlett's, she's doing God's work, telling family and friends about Pond Prowler Adventures. You got to love it. And she didn't even come to lunch with us last week. For those of you guys that didn't know, these guys came from California. Pond Prowler. And we all had lunch together a week or two ago. Big Manicio says, big announcement from AA coming. Elon's brother is merging his company with, how about Elon's brother and Larry Ellison's brother and Roaring Kitty's brother all get together and propose a buyout? How about that? Oh yeah, MS. Good question. I also wondered why we did that Go plan with all the cash issues. So I've talked about this a few times, but I know a lot of y'all don't tune in regularly. And you know, I made a couple videos about the Go plan when it was announced, and I was not very happy. But then I took some time. I was like, this just doesn't make sense. How can they be proposing all this spending when they have no money? The cash is, there's no cash to be found. And they didn't propose any increase in CapEx. How are they paying for the Go plan? So on the premise of those questions, if CapEx is not going up, how do they pay for the Go plan? I started digging into all of the vendors, Coke, IMAX, Dolby, Barco, the projectors, the 4D seat company. And I started discovering that all of them have financing. All of them have like projectors as a service, for example, from Barco. You could change out all the projectors, spend $400 million and not spend hardly any cash because they're going to finance it. They're going to give you the equipment, 5-year lease. You get to make a press release saying we just invested $500 million in new projectors across the entire fleet of theaters. Somehow, CapEx never went up, right? How does that happen? Because it's a lease. It's a service. Look, CapEx hasn't gone up this year. All these upgrades they did. Where does it come out? Where does the wash got to come out, right? The wash comes out in that this will impact your operating expense. You're going to take a hit on the income statement instead of the balance sheet. You're going to take a hit on the income statement over time. Your operating expenses as a percentage of revenue should, if I'm correct, theoretically go up. However, if box office is going up, then that was a perfectly rational decision because you locked in your spend and revenue's going up and revenues hopefully going up because you invested the money in better equipment and technology. The plan is good if the movies are there. If the movies aren't there, well, then in my opinion, we just increased operating expenses, and we're going to have even worse results if the box office does not increase in the next 12 months. You know what I'm saying? If I were to compare next 4 quarters, if they were exactly the same, I would expect to see less profit because of higher operating expense due to the Go plan. That's my DD. Nobody will fucking confirm it. AMC won't answer me. Barco won't answer me. IMAX, none of them will answer me. All this industry secrets. But I found enough evidence in these companies' websites that they do offer these sort of programs. And you can go look up Barco, BARCO, laser as a service, to just get an inkling of what I'm talking about. Not only do they provide you the equipment, they provide the service, and they monitor your equipment through the cloud to proactively schedule preventative maintenance. I mean, it's amazing the technology that is available to theaters these days. Of course, you'd want to invest in that. And maybe there's a trade-off even, right? If you've got if you've got projectors that are running themselves and you don't need a man up in the booth of every auditorium, then maybe your operating expenses don't even go up. What do I know? But it's just something we'll keep an eye on. We'll keep an eye on operating expense as a percentage of revenue and see if the Go plan is buried in there somewhere. We need some comparable revenue numbers so then we can compare expenses, and then we'll see. Then we'll know. Anya says, who remembers the projectionist in the back of the theater? Six Son, I do not have any Google stock at the moment. Executive team must be banking hard on the next couple of years being amazing at the box office. I mean, based on what we know, based on what all of them are telling us, not just AMC, Cinemark's saying it, IMAX is saying it, the industry's saying it, 2026 and 2027 are going to be better. I feel like they say that every year. Please, Lord, can we just be right 1 year with the box office? If they are correct, if they're all correct, then investing now is a good decision. We'll see. Anya says, who remembers the projectionist in the back of the theater? I know it's not a thing right now, Anya, because I didn't really want to tell this story, but just between y'all and me, there was a problem with our projector on Sunday morning watching Avatar. I told y'all in the Discord, but I didn't put this out on social media. And I went to the door of the projection room. I was like, bomb, 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 bomb. Nobody. And then people were standing on their seats, banging on the glass where the projectors are. We got no picture. We're 90 minutes into a 3-hour movie. We got a black screen. We can hear the sound. Nobody in the booth up there with the projectors. We had to go down to the lobby, and they sent someone up there right away, and they were able to just rewind it 2-3 minutes, however much had gone by with no video, and restart it. And it's not a big deal. But they couldn't fix it in the moment because there was nobody up there. I don't know what caused the problem, but they fixed it. Thank goodness. Go see Avatar 3. Go see The Housemaid. And if you're really nerdy like me, go support SpongeBob. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Hope you learned something tonight about all these crazy filings, 8Ks, lender indentures and adjustments on exchange prices. I know it's a lot to keep track of, but if you don't understand, play it back. And when you understand, you will no longer say to yourself, why is the price going down? You'll say, aha, at last, someone finally explained to me why the price is going down. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look forward to that VWAP measurement period being over. And then we can have a drink and toast. Cheers.
Down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gain.